Hello guys, welcome to another video of 100 days of 100 coding questions challenge. Today is our 55th day of this challenge and we have completed 54 problem of the days on Leetcode in past 54 days. So let's begin with today's problem, that is problem number 2 and 3, 4. Minimum swaps to group all ones together 2. It is a medium level question. Topics that are included in this question is array sliding window. So it is a basic sliding window question. We have to do a sliding window approach and the question will solve itself. So it is saying that a swap is defined as taking two distinct positions in an array and swapping the values in them. So it is a definition of swap, and this is the definition of circular array. That is, a circular array is defined as an array where we consider the first element and the last element to be adjacent. Okay, so in a circular array, the indexes that are out of one is repeating itself, the repeating digits of array from 0 to that integer. Okay, so it is a circular array. We'll be defining a circular array in this question later on. Let's see how it will work. So this is my array. This is my array. It is a binary array, so it will contain only 0 and 1. So in this question, I have to return the minimum number of swaps that will group all the ones together. Like in this, I have to swap these two elements to group all the ones in a single group. That is 3 ones in a row. Okay, so I will be doing a simple sliding window approach in this question. So let's do sliding window. So first I have to calculate the window size. Okay, so how will I calculate the window size? So the window is something which contains only ones. So I have to calculate the number of ones that are appearing in this array. So the size of the window is nothing but the number of ones that are appearing in this array. So the window size for this question is 3. Okay, so if I have a window size of 3, so the whole window can only consist of ones. If there is 0 in that window, it means I have to swap it with a 1. Okay, if I have two zeros in a window and only one in that window, so I have to swap two zeros with two ones. Okay, so the number of zeros in a window will will be giving me the number of swaps that I have to perform for grouping the ones. Okay, so basically I have to find the window which will give me the minimum number of zeros in that window. So I'll finding the number of minimum window that will give me the minimum number of zeros in that window. So let's iterate in that array and see the I will count the number of zeros. So zero count I'll make zero count variable. At first it will be 0 and minimum swap at first it will be equal to the 0 count. Okay, so for first window, that is this window 0 1 0, the 0 count is 2. So at first the minimum swap will be 2. Okay, minimum swap will be 2. For this window I have to swap two zeros with two ones. So then after I will get the window with only ones. Okay, after that I will increase the window size, not increasing the window size, basically I will sliding the window one step ahead. So I have to remove one element from the back and insert one element in the front of that window. So if I am removing a zero, it means I am decrementing the number of zeros from first window. So if I am removing a zero, I have to decrement one zero from the zero count. Okay, and if I am adding a one, it means I have to do nothing in this zero count. If else if I have a zero which is adding in this element, so I have to increment this value simultaneously. If I repeat, if I am removing a zero from this window, I have to decrement the zero count, and if I am adding a zero in this window, I have to increment the zero count. Okay, for ones it is unmutable, but for zeros it is mutable. If I am removing, I have to decrement. If I am adding a zero, I have to increment. So now I have this window which have one zero only, and the minimum swaps that I can do in this window is 1. So I have the minimum swap as 1. I will slide this window, and if I am removing a zero, I have to decrement. So it is not a zero, and it is not a zero. So I do not have to do increment or decrement. So now I have this window. In this window, I have only one zero, and the minimum swap will be 1 as it is. Okay, so now I am removing the zero from this. So I am removing the zero. So I have to decrement the zero count. And if I am adding a zero in this window, I have to increment the count. So the basic count will be 1 for this window. Okay, so it will be unchanged. Okay, now I am removing 1 and incrementing a 0 in this window, so I have to increment the 0 count. So now the 0 count is 1 and the minimum swap will be 1 because I am storing minimum swap as minimum of this minimum swap and 0 count. So it will be unchanged. So at last I have to return the minimum swaps. So this is a simple approach of a sliding window I'll be doing in this question. So let's gather the size of this array, that is nums.size, and first step is to calculate the window size. So it is nothing but the number of ones that are appearing in this array. So I have to calculate the number of ones as a window size. So calculating the window size. Window size, I will make an integer window that will store the window size. At first the window size will be 0, and for int I equal to 0 to I is less than ni plus plus. It is a binary array, so the sum of all the ones is the number of count of the ones. So I'll make window plus equal to nums of I. So by this I will get the number of ones, because if it is 0 the increment will be 0, and if it is 1 the increment will be of 1. So it will give me the number of ones in the window. So at first I had to calculate the number of zeros in the first window. For first window I have to calculate it manually, and for the rest of the windows I will calculate it by my loop. So for number of zeros in first window, number of zeros in first window is integer 0 count, it is 0, and for int I equal to 0 to I is less than window size I plus plus, and if okay, if I will get the 0, I'll increment the 0 count. So nums of I is equal to 0, so the 0 count will increment. So by this I will get the number of zeros in the first window, and now I will I am performing the sliding window. So for this I have to make integer start, that is the starting index of the window, it will be 0, and an ending index of the window, it will be the size of the window minus 1, because size minus 1 is the index. And integer minimum swap, at first it will be equal to the 0 count for the first window. Now while start is less than n, I have two conditions. Which two conditions? If I have to remove the element from the back, so if the removing element is 0, I have to decrement the 0 count. So if remove element is 0, so if nums of start equal to 0, then this will be decrement and start plus plus. Okay, now second condition is the included element is 0. So if included element is 0, for including I have to take and at first I have to do and plus plus. So and plus plus will be the including index. So if it is 0, then I have to increment it, and at last min swap will be minimum of min swap and 0 count. 0 count for that window, and at last I will return min swap. And it is a circular array. Okay, it is a circular array if I am exceeding the limit of the window. So for this window, I have two zeros, and after this window, I have to go this sliding window will go to the out of bound index. So as it is a circular array, so the indexes will repeat itself. Okay, the indexes of this array will repeat itself. So after this 0 0, it will come as 0 1 0 1 1 0 0, and after that it will repeat. So it is a looping array. So if I have to map this out of bound index to 0, or after that so after index is 1, so and that the next index will be 2. So if I have to do this thing, I have a simple logic, that is I will take the end modulo n. It will map the out of bound index to the corresponding index of this array. So it will make the mapping of that out of bound index to the internal indexes. So hopefully it will run. Yes, it is running, and let's submit it and check if it is passing all the test cases or not. Yes, it is passing all the test cases, and it is 99.21% faster. So if you have any problem in this code, I will be leaving the code link or solution link in the description. It will direct you to my repository, that is daily Leetcode repository. I am posting all the problems of this challenge uh, in this repository. So if you have any problem in the past codes also, you can tally from here. You have to search the problem number and you will get the code. So by this, I have completed the problem of the day of today and 55th day of our coding challenge. So thank you for today.